Oh no! The Mad Gear gang has kidnapped Mayor Mike Hager's daughter Jessica. Can Cody, Hager, and Guy stop them? Well, it's Final Fight for the Sega CD, today on Power Up! To the show. For this month on Power Up, I'm calling this Beat 'em Up Brawler Month. And what better to kick off the month with this fine gem of a game, Final Fight CD for the Sega CD. Well anyway, before we get into this review of sorts, this game, as you for most of you hardcore gamers, this also came out on the Super Nintendo. But the Super Nintendo one was somewhat different, well I should say vastly different, from this version. For example, it had, this brought back the 2-player option and all 3 characters. Whereas the Super Nintendo version only had 2 of them, which I'll get to in the review. Well anyway, let's go beat up some bad guys. Final Fight CD was released for the Sega CD in 1993. Unlike the Super Nintendo version, the 2 players can actually play together, whereas in the aforementioned Super Nintendo version, it is a 1-player game only. Story-wise, Mike Hager, the mayor of Metro City's daughter Jessica, is kidnapped by the Mad Gear gang. So it's up to Hager, Cody, who is Jessica's boyfriend, and Guy, Cody's friend, an all-around awesome ninja, to rescue Jessica and defeat the Mad Gear. Also interesting, in the opening scene in the Sega CD version, I should say the opening intro, because it's an awesome Sega CD, I should say the CD format, the whole opening is spoken through dialogue. And even since it's on the Sega CD, unlike the much censored Super Nintendo version, the Mad Gears in the Sega CD opening intro even suggest they might even do very bad things to, as in sexually assault Jessica if Hager does not come under their whims. And another thing, the Super Nintendo version, unlike the Sega CD version, they changed the 2 female characters, 2 men in that version, the Super Nintendo version. But in the Sega CD port, they're back to women. Although changes were made as well, because in the arcade version, the girls' shirts and shorts, I guess, were a little bit shorter. So to keep the people happy, they basically, let me think here, they made them longer, so they made them more appropriate. And also, the reason why in the SNES version they changed them to men, basically, although in the arcade Roxy and Poison were women, quote, but that's not exactly the whole gist, the whole story. Basically, Roxy and Poison, according to Capcom, were known as transvestites, which probably didn't sit too well with Nintendo. So, thus the change to men on the Super Nintendo version. But in the Sega CD version, which I'm reviewing, they are back to women, although they're more covered up in this version. And also, as well, thanks to the awesomeness of the CD, as I mentioned, all of the themes and sounds in the game, well, at least the backgrounds, they got a spiffy new update. It's really cool, and I like it a lot. And also, anyway, as in the arcade game, there are 6 stages with 2 bonus rounds, with a boss at the end of each stage. And also, over the Super Nintendo version, the Sega CD version also, besides reinstating the 2-player mode and all 3 characters to choose from, they also reinstate a missing level which was missed from the Super Nintendo version, although when the Game Boy Advance version of this game came out, they put it back in. The level in mention was, I think, an industrial type area, with the boss Rolento at the end. And actually, interesting to note, some of these bosses from this game, I think of the one known as Katana in this game, as well as Rolento, and also Guy and Cody were eventual playable characters in another Capcom franchise, the Street Fighter games, most notably the Alpha series. And for Cody and Guy, Street Fighter, they're also in the Super Street Fighter 4 as well. For gameplay, you have 3 buttons: one to jump, attack, and you can make one for like a special move or extra joy or whatever they call it. I think in this game it's special. What that special move does, each of the 3 characters has a variety of moves they can do. Like Hagu can do a pile driver, and to say Cody Cody and Guy can throw people pretty far or something. But anyway, the special move, like for Hagu, for example, what I use for this Ryu, when you push it, does like a spinning clothesline type move. But if it hits, which is what it's used to, it's mainly used to, if you're really getting your butt kicked, it's used to clear, what I like to say, clear the air, or clear the area. But anyway, when you do that move and it connects to an enemy, you do lose some vitality. So you gotta use it quite wisely, or use it in the right situation. Otherwise, if you use it too much, the next screen you see may be a game over screen, or hopefully just a continue screen, but maybe a game over screen. So be careful when you use that special move. And also, I like to talk about this other new mode that was very new, which is new to the CD version of Final Fight. The Sega CD version is Time Attack mode. What's cool is 1 or 2 players can play. It's kind of like a time trial mode. Basically, beat up as much Mad Gear thugs as you can to get a high score. And each character of the 3 has their own little place or level to fight on. But my favorite, I have to say, even though I like using Hager in the main mode, but I kind of like Guy's level, or arena or whatever. It's basically that he's fighting on a really big bridge. Like he's fighting on the top of this bridge. It's kind of weird, like, wow. And it's kind of weird, like, kind of neat how, like, Guy just want to chill out, have some, like, McDonald's or Smezadate or do some awesome ninja stuff. And these, like, Mad Gears want to come and kick his butt for no apparent reason. That's major props to you, Mad Gear. But hopefully, if you're Guy, you can totally take them out. And also, Cody's is alright. It's kind of like a road rally or some, to quote another site, or whatever, to quote another thing, it looks like Fast and Furious is all I can think of. But anyway, that's his level. He fights in like a car show rally, like, you know, like old, hard to explain it. Hopefully, you'll know what I mean when you play it. But kind of like a car rally of sorts. But anyway, and Haggers, it's kind of neat. Haggers, he fights in like a Chinatown or an Asian type level or arena, which is coolest from what I've heard. When this game was first being in production, it was supposed to be a sequel to the Street Fighter 2 game. It could have been Street Fighter 1 and Street Fighter 2. It was even called Street Fighter 89. But I guess something happened and they renamed it The Final Fight. And of course, also, and also to note, although this game, this was the only arcade, this was the only, Final Fight 1 was the only arcade game, but on the Super Nintendo, Capcom made 2 brand new Final Fight games exclusively for the system, Final Fight 2 and Final Fight 3, which both of those games had two players reinstated on the Super Nintendo. As I mentioned, the aforementioned the first one, the Final Fight 1, didn't have the 1-player mode. And interesting also to note, they also had, Capcom also released Final Fight Guy, which was it also in the Super Nintendo. It had Guy, but got rid of Cody and kept Hager, which is really, really funny, as a matter of fact. So, anyway, if you want to pick this game up, I actually found mine on Amazon.com for not too expensive. I think it was less than 20 bucks. And I got lucky because when I bought it, I thought I was just buying the disc, like a case and a disc, but for 20 bucks I got the box, I was able to get the box and the manual and the disc. And the box was, as you saw in my introduction, it was not too bad. The box was in good condition, the manual was in excellent condition, but it shouldn't be too much expensive. But you know, and of course I believe this game is on the Wii Virtual Console, but not the Sega CD version. The original Super Nintendo version is on the Virtual Console. But to me, I think now that I played both the Super Nintendo version and the Sega CD version, I do think the Sega CD version is the more superior product or superior port, just because of all three characters on the two players was reinstated. Plus they had plus they had the time attack mode, and also in the options mode, besides assigning different button functions, you can choose. It had a much better robust option mode, which you can choose up to 5 guys and choose how well you got, how often you got an extra player, which is pretty cool. So if you do have a Sega CD, for those of you watching this, please pick this up. If you can get it. It's pretty cool and it's very enjoyable, and I like it. So if you got a Sega CD, highly recommended. And as always, before we go, if you live in or around South St. Paul, Minnesota, or the Minnesota Twin Cities metro area in particular, please be sure to visit my good friends at Level Up Games. And of course, here's the info as usual. No info. No. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please rate and subscribe to my channel. And also, I have a Twitter feed and a Facebook fan page and a website as well for the Twitter feed. It's at Skakin Bacon, and my Facebook fan page on Facebook is your Facebook search Skakin Bacon Media, and please like my page. And also as well, my website has changed again. Well, not. It is no longer skakinbacon.com/skakinbaconmedia and skakinbacon.com/SBA. That is no more. I was able to turn it back to just basically www.skakinbacon.com. So no more having to add other the Skakin Bacon Media or the SPA. So, and also that info is also on the bottom there. Well, anyway, that about wraps it up. Thank you for watching, and be sure to catch another episode of Power Up.